What's up, everyone? It is me, Adam Prime, and we are back with another TokuBrew podcast this week in Toku. Yeah, with me, as always, is my lovely fiancé and, very much dealer with many insane things I have done.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, I'm Stormy. You probably know that by now.
So yeah, I'm about to say, if you've been watching for this long. If you're new, hello. Why are you joining us near the end of Donbrothers? Is it because you're mostly a Geats fan? Tell me down in the comments. I'm curious. You know, whole week, changing up as of recently. I would say I mentioned it last podcast, but you weren't aware of such changes, apparently.
Huh?
Last time I was mentioning and alluding to, which, again, it's already happened by the time this podcast is coming out. And I've already changed it, I'm about to say, revealing my face, a beautiful, beautiful face.
Oh, yes. You're very brave.
Yes.
I can indeed confirm that he is that handsome.
Well, we got more Donbrothers and Geats. Again, I'm still a little bit behind in the editing process. I'm almost caught up. I'm getting close. I can taste it. Hopefully I get it by the end of Donbrothers. I have 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks by the recording of this. Pray for me. Okay, by that I mean like a week. I'm now realizing. Shit.
Oh my god.
Shit. But say, we deep enough into this video where I could say that?
I think so.
Maybe. I don't know. YouTube's stupid anyway.
Never do it.
Yeah,
Don't follow your dreams.
Oh my god. Don't follow your dreams. Well, I'm about to say, as we would learn in this week's Donbrothers, yes, we're getting right into it.
Alright, yeah, let's do it.
Pretty much open right where we leave off, where Taro gets sucked in, and they're like,
Uh-oh.
haul us! Get out of here! We gotta go! And then we pretty much, they get away and they're just like, how could we lose Taro? And like that's kind of like the big thing.
Yeah, it's just like
they kept being like, oh,
yeah,
Kaji, that was to be expected.
Yeah, it's so funny how they like low-key shade him throughout all of this. It's just
yeah.
like, I mean, yeah, we kind of expected with Kaji at this point, but Taro.
Yeah, exactly. But Taro, that's so weird. What, like, how could this have happened? We'll get to that. Put a pin in that. But then we pretty much go to Natsumi and Tsubasa,
who are just
hanging out.
living it up, honestly. Like,
and man, yeah, all those points he used, and how last episode it's like, oh man, nothing's really happened.
Kept saying that misfortune will come his way or whatever.
And for a minute we were thinking, hey, maybe nothing's gonna come because it was a selfless wish. He was bringing somebody else back to life because they got injured because of him. So give him a favor. No.
He's a wanted criminal again.
Yeah, yeah, we don't even know why now. Like,
yeah, a cop just kind of strolls up. It's like, oh my gosh, it's Tsubasa. Like, it's the wanted criminal.
It's the fugitive.
He's like, not anymore. And then, but he keeps going, so he just kind of drags Natsumi off.
Yeah, Natsumi's like, what's going on?
Yeah, and they see his wanted posters, and then who else shows up but Sanoni?
Yeah, and she shoots the cops with her arrows.
Yeah, just fucking sticking her nose in their business.
Yeah, just pretty much just being like, you brought me back to life, and Natsumi's like, what? And Natsumi's very confused. Like, by the way, can we just finish the whole plot thing with Natsumi?
He's still being a little bit of a shit to her too, because she just wanted to thank him, and he's just like, fuck off.
He's like, I already told you, don't show your face around here. Like, just leave me alone. We experimented one time. It's not okay.
Do you want to just talk about their other scenes so that we can just...
Yeah, because that's all that pretty much happens, because big shocker, this episode kind of just goes where the Donbrothers kind of get picked off until, last moment, you know how the story goes. But meanwhile, let's get to the other Natsumi thing, and all of a sudden he's just like, well, here's a question for you, Natsumi. Have you heard of the name Miho?
Well, first of all, I want to establish they're sitting down and having dinner.
Having spaghetti.
And she keeps questioning him on things, and he's in his head just like, where do I even start?
Yeah. Which I guess it's good that he's not being like, oh, I can't tell her.
Yeah, he's just like, God, there's so much.
Because if he was gonna say something like, I can't tell her, I'd be like, bro,
No.
she woke up with you in a forest and was sleeping for a year plus? Like, what the fuck do you mean?
Yeah. But he does ask her, like, oh, do you recognize the name Miho or whatever it was? And she's like, hey, how do you know that? While I was, like, asleep, I was dreaming that I was a beautician.
And she was just so casual about it.
Well, she probably doesn't know the significance behind it, obviously.
I wonder if that explains, like, Miho, where she would just wander around, because it would just be Natsumi's mind just kind of wandering.
I almost wonder if there's, like, low-key desires in like, her subconscious, like, oh, a bunch of rich men buying her things, and
all of that
like,
stuff.
taking her out to nice dinners and stuff, which is, like, I guess pretty normal.
But yeah, no, and she's like, yeah, she's
it's
like...
not even necessarily romantic.
Like, yeah, but I also like how it's like, you can tell, like, that's not even a big... Maybe it is a bigger part of her than we are revealed, but she's just like, it must have been of the days when I used to want to be a beautician. Like, she'd already given up on
that?
it.
Like...
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, that was just a kind of very interesting wording.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like, and all of a sudden he's getting ready to tell Miho what's going on, and then he gets summoned by
not
the...
to me. This is not to me.
Oh, shit.
But, yeah, he gets summoned, he disappears, and she's like, okay, now it's your time to talk, and he's just gone.
She's gonna be pissed.
She's gonna be mad. He's gonna be
justifiably. Afraid. It's like, bro, just be like, it's a long, complicated story, just know
I was like, you're not exactly in a rush, just start from the beginning and go from there. Yeah. Tell her the truth.
Well, yeah, it's like, she already is aware of a forest thing.
I mean, that's also, like, just the key to a good marriage, telling the truth.
Yeah, so where do you want to go to first? I think we need to save...
Well, the Naruto are just kind of up to, like, certain hijinks. Do you want to just, like, kind of cover what they're doing and talking about?
Was this the one where the baby gets thrown down the flight of stairs, or was that last episode?
No, this is the one, I believe.
No, it was last episode, I think so, where the baby gets flung down the chute. Yeah, no, that was definitely last episode. But yeah, no.
Done.
Oh god, our notes, which are just...
No.
Oh, I found them.
Okay.
I found them. The notes have been found. But yeah, no, that happens. They do something else weird, but that's later on in the episode. So, yeah, but they're up to no good, and they're finally
Yeah, see, it's right there.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I didn't see it right away.
Anyway, so let's go to... Sonoza and Haruka.
But yeah, because that's pretty much where we go after Natsumi.
And they have actually a pretty touching moment of he's like, first of all, he just has the biggest bottle of Japanese mayonnaise I've ever seen in my life.
It's not that big.
That's a big freaking bottle.
Have you seen Kamen Rider Beast's mayonnaise bottles?
No.
Dude had like a orange
ones?
like he just... I feel like if he had a holster, he would have like holster. Like I could have sworn he might have had an orange vest or something. I can't remember Beast quite right now.
It's one of these where like he like opens it up and there's just like a bunch of bottles on the inside of his jacket or something.
No, he just pulls them out. He's not trying to sell them. He's using them. Gross motherfucker.
But so he's just like, and he's like, hey, do you know why I sealed?
Well, no, he's like, I think your manga can really help the world. It will make all of the world happy. He's like, I used your manga to seal Murasame. Do you want to know why? And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, I was hoping he would read your manga to soothe his soul.
His troubled soul.
So I wonder if that helped him at all.
I don't know. We haven't heard anything from him for a while.
Well, we only have 2 episodes left, so we'll see.
He goes to pay, and he doesn't have any money.
And so he starts working.
And he's like, has like the big smile, but he's still like really fucking intense, and it's really funny.
He still doesn't quite know how that works.
He doesn't know how to human. I thought he was in a maid's outfit for a second, and I almost screamed, and I'm sad he's not.
Yeah, so he's working at the Donbrothers now.
To work off his tab.
Yeah, so that was really funny, but Haruka, like, said she would have paid, but he was like, no. He's like, you can treat me after your manga becomes world famous. And then hijinks ensues.
Yeah, because the rest of the Naruto come in, along with Saru brother.
And they're like, sit down!
And he's just like, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna like it!
And then he spills a banana sundae on Sour Brother's crotch.
Yeah, and he like again like it's just so funny. 'Cause
He's like, oops.
he like grabs it with his just hands. Oh
Yeah, like right near his crotch. Like, by the way, that had to be cold, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, by the way, after the baby carriage got thrown down the flight of stairs.
Well, they don't know what that means, is the thing.
Well,
so, one of the bad Naoto, the guy that looks
Sonoroku?
Sogozo in my head.
I want to say that one's Sonoroku. I don't
something
think
like that.
I don't think it's Sonago.
I know, but I'm gonna call him Sogozo
oh.
because he looks a lot like Gamel for whatever reason from O's.
Even though Gamel's actor was in this show
it
earlier.
Looks like something Gamel would wear.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong.
But anyway, yeah, it's his turn to wreak havoc. The other two say.
Well, yeah,
exactly
he's trying to
the
help
same
people.
thing.
Yeah, they said it for the third time.
His whole thing is like he pretends to help someone and then immediately messes them up. Like, oh, there's an old woman. Like,
he's like,
carrying groceries up the stairs. He's like, here, let me help you, and he grabs them and he like brings them up, and then he's just like, yeet!
Yeah, he just yeets them in the doors, and then he's like, oh, that's an old baby carriage. Let me get rid of that for you.
Just rolls the baby down the stairs.
No, I'm about to say no baby's harmed during the filming of the show. That's a lie.
Probably.
That baby fell down the stairs and is probably dead.
Perhaps.
Would you press the button to turn into a cow that can't answer directly?
Perhaps.
So yeah, that's pretty much where we get into like.
That's when we had like the other parts where they talked about Miho.
Yeah, but then like they left off.
Oh wait.
Well, wait.
And then Sonoza.
Sonoshi?
No.
Who? Which one?
Gridman!
Oh, Sonoi.
God, Sonoi. So he's like working at an udon, the udon place.
Wait, but first, Sour Brother, some people got to get sucked up first.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Like he was walking around wreaking havoc.
Yeah, he was wreaking havoc, and that's when the monsters ran into each other. And they were like, oh, we can't let them reconcile, or their monster forms will be cured. Reconcile. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, it's just like they might be able to solve each other's problems. So, and they have these, like, rage darts.
Yeah, like Sonoshi just pulls out, like, a child's dart tube.
And they start causing havoc again.
Yeah, and they go berserk. They're not even saying anything. They're just like, Rah! And then
I wanted to talk about Sonoi first, just so that
we can't,
and then go back.
No, I'm
so. Because I imagine we have a lot to say about the scene that was directly after.
No, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about, like, we can go to Sonoi afterwards. I just want to talk about that fight real quick, because it's, like, that's where Oni's sister and Inoue brother get sucked up into the monster, leaving just Sao brother and the Naoto. No! Yeah, and then, like, you know, then we go into the... Then we can go to the Sonoi working at the Udon place. Udon. So yeah, he I guess he works there to maybe pay off his tab for udon. I don't.
He spent all his money there, so now he just has to work there for
Well,
food.
I about to say, I guess the guy might like him enough to let him run his cart.
I'll probably give him a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
so yeah, the new three show up.
And they eat the things that he did, and then they just insult the three things that just triggers Sonoi the most.
First is friends.
They insulted Taro, they insulted his friends, and they insulted Udon.
First, the Udon made him lose his little beard. Then his friends lost his mustache.
Yeah, he put on this like outfit so that they wouldn't recognize him, but then they did, because he got angry.
Yeah, and he's just like, you have no idea how strong Taro really is.
You can't talk about my boyfriend that way.
That's totally how it felt.
Pretty much.
And like then Sonoi comes up as pretty much, hey, we've been challenged, but here's what
because they said like, oh, let's a duel.
And then they're like, hey, let's have a plan. And then it pretty much cut away before the plan could finish.
Right.
So do we want to go into the final fight? Because I'm like...
I feel like we should talk about Jiro.
Okay.
First. Because he does become involved slightly later.
Yeah.
So we finally get the resolution between Torvald and Jiro.
Yeah, like Jiro. Well, like we finally get them. We literally cut back to him like how we have been, but this time he's doing his that one song again where like all his friends were surrounding him.
But it's a game where like you have to guess who's behind you.
Yeah.
And like he plays it and his friends just fade away and it's sad.
And he's just like being like so upset.
Shows up like beside him. He's like, dude, I'm sad too.
He's like, are you just gonna sit here all day and cry? He's like, I'm sad too, but we gotta do shit, bro.
And then basically he's just like, I think it's time that we became one, and Jiro basically just agrees.
Yeah, he's just like, I've been with you the whole time. It doesn't matter, bro. We got each other's back, even though we're the same guy.
We understand each other. We have each other's backs, and both of us have always been here and real. So I think it's time we join, or something like that. And then they do, and he gets a new hairdo. He gets some tiger armbands.
So pretty much he gets some of Torvald's costume.
Yeah, like little bits and pieces.
He doesn't get like the cloak.
And I feel like we talk about this scene a lot off camera, of just, it's so quick, and we related it a lot to like both Thouser and George, where it's like, oh, it seems like they had like this plot.
The writer probably forgot about it at some moments.
I don't know if they forgot about it. Especially with Donbrothers, but like it's like, oh, it just had to like jam a resolution really quickly. Basically.
He wanted to solve it in some way, but it's
like, with this, it felt good. Like, I wasn't upset with this at all. It felt satisfying. It was a little bit quick, but it made sense.
It almost felt like the Bestial, like the Juto, like resolution, where it wasn't grand or something that was like supposed to be this spectacular thing. It just felt like a nice resolution, where it's like, it's almost Jiro telling himself, he's like, yeah, we gotta move on. We gotta do what we need to do, what's best for us, bro.
And he does find resolve. Like, he's smiling by the end of it. And
he definitely feels a little bit different.
Yeah, like, we haven't really gotten to
like,
see
we saw
much of him, like, personality-wise. I think we'll see more of that later.
We saw him for, like, 2 scenes at the end in, like, the robot fight. Like, that's kind of it from that episode. Well, he has a few other scenes, but we'll get to that.
But yeah, like, we don't see him too much this episode, but that does happen.
But yeah, no, but it is interesting to see that is now resolved.
So, let's get to the plan that they had.
Yeah, so, because they pretty much follow it to a T, so it's like saying it is just going through it.
I mean, it was kind of, it changed a little bit, but like,
yeah,
in a good way. So, they go to meet this duel, and they have the monsters tied up in the rafters, because they have, like, the conflict of the Naoto can't be the ones to kill them, because that would, be doing what the others had been doing, and basically just sending them off into cube space or whatever.
Yeah, but they have Taro's sword.
Yeah, but they have Taro's sword, and their plan was basically that, like, they were gonna have everyone else get sucked up, but leave one person behind, because that'll get the 3 of them to get cocky and
get overconfident,
and then they can take Taro's sword when they find an opening, and then destroy the monsters, freeing everybody. And originally it was going to be Sauerbrother, because
Sarahara, yeah,
because Sonoy, like, first of all, he got blasted with, like, that disinfectant.
Yeah, right after he revealed himself.
His hair is weird, and he, like, out of, like, respect and just showing that he...
Yeah, because Sauerbrother was still like, I don't know if I could trust you.
Yeah, and he gives Taro's sword to him.
Yeah, the Zunglass sword. So he's just like, hey, my respect as an honorary Donbrother. Like, I'll let you do it. But...
And we do actually get to that point, and it's just the 2 of them left, but Sarahara decides last second to be like, no, it needs to be you. And
he's like, I'm not good with swords. See ya!
I'm a monkey over here. And yeah, and then he gets sucked in, and they do in fact get cocky. They all put
They put stupid blindfolds on. We're like, we're not gonna talk about it long enough to have a reason to have all 3 pictures. But I took the picture of the stupidest one, and you can look at it as we're talking right now. So yeah, they get overconfident.
And just, like, swinging around blindly. He just kind of like casually walks by them and then destroys the monsters. It was really funny. Actually.
Well, yeah, it's like in one quick swipe, and then everyone's back.
Yeah, and then. And he and Sarahara fist bump, which was really cute.
Well, yeah, they did a little...
And he gives
and then he gave
his
sword back.
And everybody changes together.
Well, except for Jiro. Jiro wasn't there yet.
Yeah, not yet.
I love that Sonoy tells Taro, he's like, I'm not your companion.
I'm your boyfriend.
Oh my god.
It's obvious.
Well, yeah, I love the smirk that he gave Sonoy when he said that. He was like,
And actually, this when Jiro comes in once, like, they're, like, full-fledged in the fight, because the monsters grew big, but they're all busy. And as like the monsters at the top are like actually kind of mad because like they're just kind of hanging up there while they're like don't ignore us.
Yeah,
It's
I do
mean.
like that Jiro is just like, so this is the new Donbrothers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
And
get
his
his
voice is
first transformation as one person
mm-hmm.
into
Only
Tor
me.
and the
what was it that,
Dorgojin.
what was it that Taro said? It's just like he basically just asked if he was doing okay, right?
Yeah, he's like, "Where have you been? Are you doing all right?" He's just like,
only me. And then he goes golden.
"Well,
Super
well,
Saiyan. He goes
Taro
Super
does.
Saiyan.
Taro goes Super Saiyan." Which again, it's kind of cool that like Jiro's first fight as like one being is as Tora Dorgoshin, because that technically was Torvald and John Dragoku, like the personalities being together. You know what I mean? So it's like it's cool that that's like how you can look at that.
And yeah, like and they actually win and they go back to
The Donbra, and then you get like the generic, like the I guess it was friendship that we learned along the way.
And teamwork.
Yeah, exactly. It was just that it was teamwork that got us through.
And everyone's like all together.
Like that
ha,
sitcom,
ha, ha,
like that sitcom, and then everyone should
Everywhere
freeze.
you go,
Yeah, everyone should have
everywhere
freeze
you
framed.
are, somebody who needs you. But
yeah, no.
and we actually pan outside and Taro's listening outside and he's with
Tsubasa.
Tsubasa. And he basically calls Taro out because he's like, I know what you did. He actually got captured on purpose so that they would basically be forced to work together and start to form a good relationship.
But yeah, no, he definitely was just, he was like, I'd rather not say. He wasn't going to answer. Because obviously he can't lie. But yeah, he was just like, oh, but you put it together. So, I do think that was a really kind of sweet moment. And it's like, it kind of shows where it's like, I guess because Taro is supposed to be supposedly like, as we've been seeing throughout the show, a perfect being. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, it almost was weird that he got captured, but it was like, I guess that's why he said, let's mix it up on the 4th.
Yeah. We've been kind of theorizing as to like why he would do this. Like we're like, because obviously
we'll have to get into that. I think we should save that for next episode to talk about that.
No, like, don't you want to like kind of mention it here, if only just to be like start a conversation?
Well, we've talked about the theory already.
Yeah,
about...
but like we're basically just wondering, like, because we've mentioned before that like the future Haruka is very mad at Taro. It's like, oh, what if this is basically him just preparing everyone for him leaving?
It could be, like, you know, making them work as a team.
I do remember we talked a little bit about it last episode, but it seems like something is ramping up, and we're just wondering what's
like something has to be happening with Taro, unless the writer does his. If Inoue does the Inoue thing.
Dude, is this really the best time to be eating candy?
I'm sorry, it was too tempting.
You are going to choke if you talk and eat candy at the same time. But anyway.
But yeah, no, okay, wait, but because here's something, a little bit of a spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched Fies. Do you want to know what the ending of Fies was? Nothing. It just ended like a regular episode, just like I guess I'm gonna protect people's dream, but
I'm a dry cleaner.
Yeah, he's just a dry cleaner for the rest of his life. So, you know, where it's like he definitely capped things off and it felt like a final episode, but like the ending of the episode itself was just kind of like, I guess this show will go on. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't get a big, where it's like...
It's possible. I can see Donbrothers ending that way.
I kind of would love that, but if it ends with, like, Taro leaving, and it's, like, him getting ready to maybe leave it to, like, Sonoy and Jiro, as he goes off to maybe fight...
Was it in this preview where we saw the three of them basically wearing identical clothing with...
Yeah, it was at the end of the preview where he's, where they're all wearing, like, tracksuits.
Something like that. But, yeah, just I wonder if it's gonna be a thing where, like, he goes back to, like, try and get more people to,
try to get the Naoto to, like...
be more on their side. One goes and guards both gates, kind of thing. We don't know.
We'll have to see.
But, you want to get into Geats?
There's a lot about Geats this week. It's very upsetting this week in Geats.
This was a very good episode of Donbrothers, but, like, so much shit happens in Geats. Oh, my god.
Well, no, because here's the thing about Donbrothers. It feels like we're getting towards the end.
Yeah, it really feels like it.
Oh, wait. I'm so excited for next week. I'm so excited.
Why?
He's back. In King-Ohger form.
Oh.
My king!
Oh God, guys, listen here. I saw the preview trailer for King-Ohger.
Oh,
I swear to God, if
yes.
this show isn't good, I'm gonna rip my hair out.
Hey, you're gonna hear us talk about it every
Like,
week, so get excited
oh
for
my
it.
God,
So
like,
you're gonna see how we're gonna feel.
please don't disappoint me. Because here's the thing, I'm not a fan of Saber, but like me and Adam like to play games like on car rides and stuff of like, oh, if we were gonna like rewrite shows, like how Power Rangers will like sometimes rewrite Sentai, but like use footage and
Yeah,
stuff.
it was like, how would you adapt it? Like, what would be your...
How would you adapt Saber? And I shit you guys not, basically, the show I described was King-Ohger.
Yeah.
It's not to a T, but it is so freaking close. And please be good. It looks
Like, not the character,
so
but the
good.
concept of it was very similar
It
to
looks
what you
so
wanted.
good.
I remember I saw the picture.
I will be so upset if like I get duped by this again. Because
King-Ohger coming soon.
Oh, yeah, King-Ohger coming soon. Basically, we have like what 2 episodes of Donbrothers left?
Yeah, we have 50, so. So let's open up.
I think we said that last time, but we learned that there was another episode.
But yeah, no.
All right, Geats.
So we pretty much open up with everyone getting told, or at least to the audience getting told, that the characters now know Lopo wasn't the disaster. And like Tycoon's like, I don't get that because everyone unanimously voted for her,
Including her. Like,
yeah, exactly. Where it's like, so how isn't she the disaster?
and Nago gets another card.
Yes, her card by her plush cat.
Yeah, basically it was, oh, you need to
Obstruct the players,
or you will never achieve.
but never get caught.
You cannot get caught. And I noticed something that like her things have been like ramping up over time. Like the first.
This has a penalty.
Well, yeah, I was getting to that part.
Okay, go.
Like the first part, she didn't really have to do anything. Sparrow basically just did everything.
Shot himself in the foot.
Yeah. Probably on purpose, in my opinion, because, again, he got scouted to be her
strategist,
so he probably lost on purpose to get to her. But the second one,
some of the facial expressions in this episode are great.
The second one, she had an objective. Okay, you have to go and throw a fruit bomb
behind
a rider or whatever. And now this one, it's like, okay, you have a task, but also there is a penalty to it. So it's like kind of ramping up as time goes on.
And this is where Nago's game like falls apart.
Oh my god.
Like, let's not get into it fully yet.
We'll get into it more.
But like, we immediately cut to Buffa and Bjerba.
Draculora.
And like, she's just like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And fucking Buffa's just like, this is a fucking show.
This is awful. This sucks.
And then we pretty much get like them getting ready for the final round and see if they can figure out who the disaster is. And he puts it on thick. Yeah, like if you were watching it and not seeing what we were seeing behind the scenes and just seeing what the game master was doing most of the time, you'd know who the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And then he gets depressed.
Yeah. And we have some new stuff in the opening.
Oh yeah.
Obviously we have Lopo being only a silhouette now with
yeah, but that's per norm. That's per norm.
But now we also have Nudge Sparrow along with Buffa, and they're not as glitchy and
yeah, the vines.
Yeah, like it's actually a lot more clear, and there's the both of them now.
But yeah, no. So pretty much the game master gets super depressed.
Yeah, because the Jamato haven't shown up for 3 whole days.
Yep.
And
we're at least in
Tycoon
days.
Tries to be like, yeah, well, that just means the world is safe. And then
yeah, the world's up.
It's boring.
Well, yeah, like, and pretty much he has a breakdown where he's like, we need more Jamato!
Even Geats is just like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the facial expression when he asks that is so great.
And they're just, like, fucking, like, playing cards together, and Sarumi is just like, yeah, he's, like, down in the dumps about it. And he's, like, literally screaming about wanting more Jamato in front of these people, to the point where he calls the gardener, like, where's my shit? And he's like,
he's like, hey, it takes a process. They'll be done when it's done.
And he's just like,
my rating.
But he's like, oh, yeah, I won't be seen as a good game master.
He's like, yeah, this will affect my approval as game master.
He's just like, well, then do something about it.
He's like, well, then you can figure something out. Fuck you. Hangs up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he
love that gardener. Yeah.
What was his reaction?
This dumbass, as we would figure out, is a dumbass move later in the episode, so put a pin in that.
Yep.
He decides, all right, let the games begin.
You're fighting me.
And you just get this almost badass transformation where you see him go like crazy, like snap his spine back, transform, do this badass pose.
And he turns into Glare too, and it looks basically exactly like Glare, except it has
glitchy
some new,
and like a rosebud.
It's glitchy and it has some new stickers. And then it pans out, we see him, and it's just like, oh, let it begin.
Yeah, he starts running like a toddler.
Gallivants away.
And then Surumi just starts counting.
She starts counting to 10. It's like, oh, this is tag. You have to catch the game master.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Tycoon.
Wait, before you get to Tycoon, I love the facial expressions when they were reacting. Like them seeing this.
Geats, you can tell, like, Geats has been through probably a billion freaking games, but this is all new to him. He's just like, what the fuck is happening?
It's so good.
He has so many funny expressions in this. And then as they're trying to chase after him, Tycoon finds out the hard way that there are also traps.
Yeah, like...
he, like, steps on basically a mine a couple of times. And
several mines.
And he blows up him and Surumi.
Well, no, that was the first one. She was like, oh yeah, by the way, there's traps everywhere. He's like, why didn't you tell me?
And she just like,
yeah, there's even just banana peels.
Yeah, what is it like with like just having writers hold up bananas and just be like a banana? Like, is it weird that we have a couple of pictures of?
Oh, do we want to talk about the greatest trap of them all?
Oh my god, yeah.
Where he gets tripped and he falls into
How does he get there?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, so they're fighting. They're trying to catch the game master, but there's obviously game master riders.
And Nago was like, okay, I have to do this task, and so I don't just lose my dream world. And she's like, there he is, he's over there. And then he runs over into a trap, and it's like a tripwire. He falls, and a cage falls on top of him.
By the way, the cage is not locked.
I hilariously realized that like the place you would put a padlock, there is no lock. And
he could have opened it.
He found the door instantly, but did not figure out to try and open it. And then like
the game master rider, which I'm now wondering if these riders aren't real, because we found out like the Desire Grand Prix can make holograms. So I'm wondering if these riders are fake.
Anyway, he draws on his face.
Yeah, he pretty much is like, I'm gonna draw on your face.
Bad show.
That's pretty much what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he just has like.
He
looks like a trash panda.
Yeah, on his face. And they go to like this diner and they're talking.
And he's like, I can't believe you got me into a trap. She's like, and
I didn't mean to.
Nyago's like, I'm sorry, okay? I just had
like,
you kidnapped a little bit.
I'm sorry, okay?
Fucking soap operas.
And then Geats is just like, you fight like a couple, which makes her like violently stand.
Both of them violently stand.
Be like, get off my boyfriend! Get off my girlfriend!
Yeah, definitely not alluding to what are married. They're not in a love situation. What are you talking about?
Definitely. Anyway, she spills all of her shit doing that because she had like a makeup bag, and she picks it up, and like we obviously see this guy is just like kind of listening, and then after it leaves, she's like, because she like starts to accuse Geats is the thing, because Geats, he's being really clever, and he's like. Not like, directly.
He just asked her. He's like, "Did you lead him into a trap?"
He's never like fully accuses her of being the disaster, but he's just like, "Oh, did you do this on purpose?" Or like, "Oh, like why would you jump to these conclusions?" He even like acknowledges one thing when she's just like, "Oh, what about you? Like, isn't your whole thing like tricking people?" He's like, "You know what? It's natural to suspect me." He even like confirms
but he even says Tycoon. He's like, "But this time you can trust me, bro. I got you on this one."
She's like, "That just makes you more suspicious."
Digging herself a bigger
really
hole,
shoveling away at that hole.
Yeah, it's just like, and Tycoon's just like, I'm very confused.
And after she leaves, she's like, "Oh my god, I almost got caught. That was really hard." And the guy from the diner is just like,
this asshole who has a yellow streak in his hair.
Yeah, we only really see it in like one shot.
Well, yeah, when he's saying that she's too ignorant for this world.
Yeah, like I like barely noticed it, but it's so it's a lot like Jean is his
Zine.
Zalabim, he has her mirror and he's talking to her, and I am like for sure like, oh, this has got to be like one of her sponsors. Obviously, one of her sponsors is
her supporter.
Dad. Could you imagine if he was actually supporting someone else? If he was like supporting, like I don't know, like Buffa or something?
I think her dad might be a staff member.
Yeah, probably, but like I'm because like we've noticed that they.
Because I thought, okay, wait, let me get into this then, because we're talking about it. I thought originally, because we knew all the gun riders, which we will get into them in a second. They've been rumored for a long time. We always assumed that they were all going to be the sponsors. So when we heard that there was going to be one for Nyago, we were like, oh, that's her dad, right? And we even saw him say, I'm her supporter.
Mm-hmm.
But now all the characters who use those cards have streaks. Like Jean has the blue.
And they're like the biggest fans of a specific player.
Uh-huh.
Like Draculaura,
Baroba.
whatever. I'm not gonna call her that. I'm calling her Draculaura. But like she directly like sponsors Buffa. She is Buffa's quote unquote biggest fan.
To be fair, she's dragging that corpse into fights and just being like, get him!
Like Jean obviously has like stated to Geats like, oh, I'm your biggest fan. We're thinking that this guy is Nago's supporter. He's her biggest fan basically. And
it's all but confirmed at this point, by the way.
and like he's probably the other gun rider. And a lot of the things that he states about her are actually a lot of the things that like fans of the show, like not like actual people in the TV show, but like people like on Twitter and
like everything you see in reactions to the
like a lot of their complaints about her as a character, he actually mentions, and it's actually really.
By the way, when I say that, not everyone's been fully upset, but they're kind of just like, well,
you can still like a character but have criticisms.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like a lot of them have been saying like she's different, you know, and he states a lot like some really good lines like, you don't care about others as long as you're happy, or you're wishing ill will, like actively trying to like blame and like accuse other people and wishing ill will on people is going to backfire on you.
And then she says one of the greatest lines.
If you're not a fan, then just leave me alone, which is exactly why he's probably not going to leave her alone.
Which, by the way,
she probably thinks fan is in like Nyago TV or whatever.
Well, Neon TV. That's what she thought. Well, he says not every. He even said earlier in that sentence, he's like, "Hey, not everybody was
who watches you as a fan."
Yeah, is a fan. Which, by the way, I love that. Like, again, the first thing he says when he walks up to give it to her, before she can take it from his hand, he's like, "That was disappointing earlier." I'm like, dude, you're such a dick.
And we actually get a conversation between Geats and. Against
Zine? Okay, this is how it's been romanized officially on the toy. Z-I-I-N. So Zine.
I imagine like...
Yeah, it's pronounced Jean though, so it's really funny.
It probably has to do with the accent, because obviously it could be spelled away, but like because of how they speak, like it'll come out a different way than how we would pronounce it.
Well, that and Kamen Rider does that all the time. Yeah. Decade, and it's literally spelled decade. You know what I mean? It's like, they do it all the time. So.
Yeah, but, so...
Double is just W.
You want to just go with, like, Zine for now, then?
Let's just go with Zine. I maybe just stick to calling him Gene. I don't
Whatever.
know.
Either way...
Ishinomori. He's talking to Ishinomori.
Anyway!
Yes.
You seemed really interested in this conversation.
Because it's like, it's one of the first times we ever see Geats thrown off. Like, he's like, hey... Do you know why the Jamato aren't showing up? That's never happened before. And that's when Jean just kind of is like, yeah, I met the Jamato sponsor.
And Buffa's.
Yeah, yeah, and he's like, oh, she was bragging to me about how she's supporting Buffa now.
Right, yeah. She, like, oh, she's a total creep. And...
Yeah, exactly. She's a weirdo. So he was like, what the hell is she doing here?
I don't belong here.
But, like...
We're just, like, throwing references left and right, aren't we?
Yeah.
But anyway...
Tally them up in the comments. But yeah, no, by the way, there's this swing, by the way.
Don't waste your energy. There's just a random-ass swing.
Yeah, Gene was just swinging on it.
I mean, I'd swing on it, so...
Yeah.
I love swings.
And he's pretty much... He doesn't know either, but he just thinks that she might have something to do with it.
Right.
And Geats is just like, interesting. And again, it was a really weird conversation where it's like, I feel like certain stuff, we were finding out that like she was the one who's like pretty much been paying for the Jamato to be innovated, you know, cultivated, I guess.
And I imagine you could probably figure out, we think what's happening is they're basically stockpiling a bunch of them.
Which we do see remember when he's on the phone, because like right before it rings, like all the Jamato were just being like, wah, wah, wah. And then he's just like, hey, calm down, just go in the corner, we'll be fucking... Yeah, they're like, start doing the Star Wars theme. Yeah, the Jamato sing the a cappella version. of the Star Wars theme. Oh, now they're doing that song too. But yeah,
I
no.
have a bad time.
By the way, round 2 of the game starts.
Yeah, and Geats is just freaking trying to shoot this guy, and he's doing the worm and avoiding them. That's where that came from.
Oh my god, it's so funny. You go from Glare 1, I guess we can call it gory Glare, where he was like this big, intimidating factor of what he could do and everything he could do. And then you got Gazer with Lord Reginald transforming and just literally murdering Buffa. Then you get Glare 2. Doing the worm, literally like woogling the bead axe out of what's her face's hand. Like he literally goes like and like a washboard. The bead axe.
Like, ha, ha, ha.
And like he's just dodging
and we have noticed.
And he slaps the taste out of Tycoon's mouth.
Oh my god, yeah, he gets them really good.
And then he makes a pentagram.
Yeah, because like one of the things that we've noticed is like they do different things, like the little
his orbs, his little hat, little hats.
I don't remember what the first Glare did with him.
He really didn't do much outside of just make them bombs that explode.
Maybe that was their thing. They exploded and maybe regenerated or something. And then with Reginald, it made shields, and with this, it basically turns into Resident Evil and
like lasers,
and which Geats like expertly twirls through like a beautiful ballerina.
Oh, also can summon boulders.
Yeah,
don't forget it can summon boulders.
Full ass Indiana Jones.
Da, 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 da. And Geats hides in a tube.
Yeah.
And pretty much the Game Master is just trying to get away, which he pretty much is. And then the Game Master Riders pretty much just start fighting and tussling them.
Yeah.
And
Nago... right as Geats is about to actually get a good shot at the Game Master...
Nago makes the move that will literally murder her game.
She decides to throw herself in front of the bullet.
Where everyone can see her in this shot.
Because, like, Tycoon does get thrown back, but
he's the furthest back, and it's not like he was blocked. Like, she was fighting one of the Game Master Riders, and Geats was aiming for the one that was flying around.
Yeah, and then she's like, look, he shot me. Ace is the disaster. He aimed for me.
Oh, and the Game Master loved that. He was just like, this is gonna be great TV.
He, like,
starts pelvic thrusting in the air. And then we'll get back to him.
Yeah, we'll get back to him in
Let's just do the Nago conversation.
We're gonna finish everything with Nago and stuff. And she basically just fully commits of just being like, look, Ace is a disaster.
She's like
grilling Geats for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And Geats is like really like not
quiet.
saying much actually. And,
I love one of his things,
but in
though.
a smart way of like he knows that she's talking herself into the grave, basically.
Well, yeah.
And he's just like, I have the highest approval rating.
He's like, why does that? Yeah, he's like, why would I do this?
And she's just like, you
like,
know, oh, you trust.
He almost sounds dumbfounded, by the way. He's like, but I have the highest approval rating.
Why would I need that?
Why would I need to do that? And like, she's pretty much just telling Kayla, she's like, we're taking our stuff and leaving. We're getting out of here.
And I gotta say, like, Tycoon looks heartbroken. You can tell he sees through everything. And he's just like, no, it's you, isn't it? And it's just like, what was it he said? Like, Geats is basically...
Like, he says, he's like, Ace plays perfectly.
He wouldn't, like, do something that would get him blatantly caught like that.
Yeah.
When Geats gets a really funny look on his face, like, oh, hell yeah, you say
He's
that.
like, yeah, say that, my boy.
But,
which, by the way, he says spoken like a real man earlier.
Oh, yeah. And you know, he pretty much lays it out. Yeah,
and he's just like...
And one of the things Geats says, I don't know if we actually have a screenshot of this at the moment, but... Geats is almost proud of her. He's just like, you've changed a lot. Like, your greed for victory, you're actually a true rival.
Like,
now.
You're actually...
Your head's in the game, kind of thing. Like, you're focusing on the game and nothing else. What you want is your desire. You'll do anything to get it. And she's finally in that headspace, and he's just like, finally.
Finally.
So good.
Here comes a new challenger.
A new challenger is entered.
But, like... I even like that, like, Kay was like, so he's like, you didn't expect me to be the disaster is because you knew it was yourself.
Yeah, you didn't even try and suspect me. I kind of have a little bit of, like, with that just because I feel like his name kind of got cleared really early on with Nudge Sparrow, but I guess, like, it still could have been a possibility, so why wouldn't she mention it, I guess? Like, because one of the things that she never accused Tycoon. It was always Geats. Like,
exactly.
So, you know,
like,
I guess that was kind of her downfall of just like assuming Tycoon was too stupid, basically.
Yeah, it was naive enough to follow her too. Like, you know, it's one of those moments, but it's like you can tell, like you could see how much she felt. Like, This now means, like, Lopo's sacrifice and everything that
Was
Lopo did
completely
to help
in
her, yeah, like, in vain.
Because basically now she can never get that world or something like that.
Like, supposedly. We don't know. By the end of this, we could find out that, we'll get to that. That's pretty much it. That's where we leave.
Let's get back to the Game Master, because some real fucking interesting shit happens.
So, after, he's done doing the worm, and he's just like, oh, you're doing so great in pelvic thrusts. Buffa and Nudge Sparrow show up.
Along with Draculaura.
Oh, yeah.
She has
the buckle for the Laser Rays Riser.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the name.
I think so. Anyway, she like transforms. We don't really see it though.
She calls him a buffoon.
And
we just see the shadow of like a monsterish form.
Yeah, we don't know what she looks like yet, but I bet it's really cool.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. And then we pretty much get
Well, no, what are you talking about? Like we're talking about that right now.
No, I mean we'll get back to like people transforming with a gun in a second, because then we cut back to that conversation between Geats and Nago and all of them, and by the time we get back, the Game Master's ass is already kicked.
Yeah, and she takes his freaking
Vision driver,
and he is panicking.
He's like, "Don't tell me you're after."
And she's just like, "Yeah, this is what I wanted," because the Vision driver is the key to accessing the god of creation.
The goddess of creation.
And we actually get to see the goddess of creation. And
like, or at least the statue.
It's fucking creepy. It reminds me of, like, biblical archangels, because I think those are the ones with multiple wings. And it's, like, this lady, and she, like, has this orb. And I wonder if that's kind of a representation for, like, her creating an ideal world for somebody. Like, it's so weird and so creepy and so
I'm very interested. By the way, there was like some nice framing earlier when she was coming in, with Buffa and Nudge Sparrow being on both sides of her. So it's kind of funny.
Yo, yeah, it just looks like her like henchman.
Yeah, she's. Well, yeah.
But I gotta sorry that there's like a big pillar in the way. We couldn't get a super good clear shot, but like you basically get it. Yeah, it's just more wing behind there essentially. But yeah.
But yeah, like the Game Master's like, you have no right to that.
And. Like
she flips him.
She uses her freaking mind to like just fling him out of the way.
She has psychic power. Maybe she is a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no.
Hey, Adam, Freaky just got fabulous. But
Baroba.
So and
Ishinomori walks in.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, you want to join me?" And he's like, "Fuck you." And
she's like, nah. He's like, I'm not interested. He's like, the Grand Prix was just getting good, and I can't let you stop this shit.
And he pulls out the gun driver as well.
Yep, the Laser Rays Riser.
Laser Rays Riser.
And he
say that 5 times fast.
So he pulls out the key thing, and he transforms into Kamen
Rider
Rider Zine
with the epic cape flip.
Oh yeah.
Half cape flip. I don't know. But anyway, one thing that we actually did notice that we were able to get a semi-decent shot of, we're going to have the screenshot of this on the screen. I'm talking about the one where he flips his thing. We actually noticed We noticed on the very back of his thing. I don't know.
On the back of the cards, which I think these are going to be on the toys.
Yeah. We actually noticed that it has Geats' logo on it, and
so it shows who they're supporting.
He's Geats' biggest fan. That's kind of like where we're getting this theory of like, okay, these are like the biggest fan of the writers. She had one. I don't know if we have really anything that would show Buffa's or anything on the back of it.
We didn't see any shots of it yet.
But yeah, like that was really interesting. And if you don't know what we're talking about in the screenshot, it's in the very bottom right corner. Like if you look on the very back
in the hand, like that was the best shot we could get.
There was another one like as he was transforming, you could kind of see it, but this one was a lot more clear. So we decided to use this one.
By the way, these cards look very similar to what the Game Master uses to transform.
Yeah, that's something.
And by the way, this toy was fully revealed, obviously, because it was shown off in this episode, and I think is coming out next weekend. I think it comes out. Yeah, as of recording, it comes out with the King-Ohger stuff.
Time that this episode is out.
Yeah, and it's like in the one that comes with the gun, because they did a holster set which comes with the other 2 cards for the other 2 riders, and the main set comes with Jean's card and Baroba's card. Mm-hmm. So
I guess they're trying to like keep the other one hidden for as long as possible.
Well, yeah, exactly. They're gonna probably show that next episode.
And funny, and like we see him in the suit, and it's kind of interesting. I really liked the suit without the card, because like the whole gimmick of his suit is like there's like cards.
Well, no, like that's the gimmick of these suits.
Yeah,
of the writing system.
Honestly, I do like it like without them. I really like the chest one. a lot of people really, really don't like the one on the face. You really like it.
I love it. I
think
like
it's
it when
okay.
suits look cool but kind of doofy if you look at them for more than 3 seconds.
I prefer either like no card on the helmet, or B, I wish it almost would have like stopped more like
I like that
at,
it looks like
the,
a mustache.
at like the cheeks, because it almost kind of looks like a mustache. I feel like it just comes forward a little bit too much, but like either way, it's a good suit. I like it. It's kind of a nitpick, if anything.
I like it. He's supposed to be an Arctic fox, by the way.
Which, again, that's pretty cool. I
Which,
wonder if there'll be like subsections.
By the way, if you notice on the card thing, and I will have this screenshot right now about what I'm talking about as I'm showing you. As you can see right here, how this is angled is very similar to how his helmet and everything is angled. So like that's why the cards going diagonal.
Yeah, they have unique designs on them.
Mm-hmm.
They're
And like
similar, but yeah, and I actually did not notice that.
so yeah, you can actually see both of his eyes, and then you have the purple thing.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah, definitely.
See, there you go. Somebody pointed that out on Twitter. If somebody knows who did point that out on Twitter, leave it down in the comments and thank them.
We would love to give them some credit.
Because, it's been a while since I saw it on Twitter, and I can't remember everything.
You can't find it.
Yeah.
Too far down in the timeline.
Yeah.
But or if you are the person,
Yeah, either way. But overall, I think I
and
like the
he does
suit.
say something interesting, that you looked at a different subgroup actually to see like how it translated.
Yeah, his little phrasing.
His thing was like, all I want is to be moved, or what was it?
He transformed. He's like, oh, what you're saying doesn't matter to me. He's like, all I want to be. He's like, what I want is to be moved.
And what was the other translation?
He's like, in another translation, he was like, I want to be emotionally stirred.
And basically they mean the same thing.
About, yeah.
Which I understand, how like they could be worded those different
subs.
ways. I kind of just like moved because it's just easier. Like, just like, why would I say emotionally stirred when it's like I could just say moved?
I almost
feel
like
it's
it.
Unnecessary.
It just feels over dramatic, and I feel like that's why I like
really?
it.
Because I was gonna say like you liked that, so you like it because of that.
Yes.
Okay. I don't
because
know.
It's like it seems like he doesn't understand emotions. Then, if that's what he's looking for, so it's like
that
over dramatic.
Well, this isn't Donbrothers. Like, it's not like they don't understand emotions or anything. It's possible.
Like that's why I'm saying he wants to be moved. So maybe he doesn't fully understand it, and he's always telling Geats, like, "Oh, sorry for fanboying."
But yeah, just
he was great.
Yeah.
It was a great episode.
And it seems like we get to see him fight next episode. So that's something.
They're gonna fight side by side.
Yay.
Both foxes with guns.
But we also get a new rule at the end.
Yes,
which was
all of the Desire Grand Prix systems are controlled by the Game Master's driver. Which does that mean
It basically, I think, means that the belt is connected to everything. It's the key, essentially.
Well, yeah, which makes sense. But also, doesn't that mean he could have shut all of their stuff off while he was fighting them? I guess that just shows Chirumi as a very incompetent game master. And
I wonder if one of the reasons, because I don't know where the gun changers came from. Like, maybe those are just things that are from the outside that they can't control.
No, because they are given to them.
Because that's what she uses to beat him up to get it. And by the way, a cute detail I noticed on the third watch, when he was calling the minions, because he was like, scared, help! He actually
send help.
He was tapping
the shoulder that
that had the missing ones
from the helmet that the rider would be wearing.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool detail.
It was.
But I don't know, is there anything you want to mention?
No, overall I like the suit. Again, I think Chirumi's gonna be fired over this.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be. And I also
I'm wondering if his disaster kind of things and rules are gonna really even apply.
Because we do see Nyago in the next episode, so we know that she doesn't
give up.
I don't know exactly what happens to her, but we know she's at least in the next episode. She's not just going to disappear overnight. But one thing that I kind of noticed I think is interesting, because I think we can both agree that Chirumi is probably not going to be the Game Master for very long, because...
Well, if Geats wins, that means he's Game Master.
Mm-hmm. Because, I've noticed that, the first one, it was it was a very serious, death game, essentially. And then in this one, it was more Survivor, Big Brother kind of games. It makes me wonder if, that's one of the reasons you'll be able to tell, the different Game Masters apart, is the types of games that they play. Like,
Which would be very
is there
interesting.
Gonna be one where it's more of a game show, or is it going to be one where it's
I
more...
want the version where they're just playing Wheel of Fortune, but you have to kill the Jamato to get letters.
Yeah, what was it that we said? Like the first one was almost like video game-esque.
Almost. It was like survival horror or like, you know what I mean? Very like strictness
Battle
of it.
Royale kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Idea.
But like still having like rules in place where it's like the goal wasn't to beat each other; it was to get the highest score.
Right, and then this one again, it was like Big
It
Brother,
felt like high
Survivor.
score, yeah.
You gotta vote. The tribe has spoken.
Exactly, you're voting somebody off. The tribe has spoken.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no.
So it makes me wonder like what the next one will be.
Well, it's like
Whether
my
it
question:
becomes
who's it
surprise.
gonna be? Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna. Or if he's gonna like put like a new rule in.
Well, I want to know.
Is this gonna all change because she took that driver? Like,
I think Jean's gonna get it back. I think Ishinomori is gonna get them the Vision Driver back. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Buffa was sassy this episode.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Buffa, like Nudge Sparrow was like, "Now that we have it, we can never be defeated." And like Buffa's like, "Are you sure about that?" And that's when Ishinomori walked in.
Yeah.
So yeah. By the way, if you don't know why I'm calling Gene Ishinomori, he played Ishinomori in Superhero Senki. He was also apparently one of the kids that O's saved in Kamen Rider O's as like a one-off. So he's been in Kamen Rider for a while, this actor. So he's finally a writer. Good for him. Which I don't know. I don't know how you go from like the god of all Kamen Riders as Ishinomori and go into a Kamen Rider. That's kind of surreal. Where it's like, which one's better? Because you have to think, in that movie, you saw him hold up a pen up to like 50 to like somebody trying to rider kick him and it did nothing. That's powerful shit. But yeah, no.
Anything else you want to mention?
No. That's pretty much my rambles. I think it's good.
Yeah, like
do you have a prefer where it's like I can't say one was better than the other.
I think Geats won this episode.
Yeah.
This one. Like Donbrothers was fun and no complaints, but like so much happening.
But to be fair, Geats is ramping up in
Donbrothers is
on the down slope.
Yeah.
We're gonna have King-Ohger here before we know it. I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
So yeah, if you're not ready for Donbrothers to end, tell us down in the comments.
Can we please get 3 good shows in a row? Please. Is it too much to ask?
I'll be impressed.
Please. Please just be good. You don't have to be great. Just be good so I can at least buy your toys and not just so I can buy your toys.
At least be good enough to want me to buy your toys. That's all we're asking.
Basically, yeah.
But overall, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Tell us down in the comments. What do you guys prefer?
Do you like Zine's suit? Do you not like Zine's suit? What do you think about it?
Yeah, what Gun Rider are you excited to see? So, thank you so much for listening. And I guess
we'll see you next time.
Yep, until next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.